Just before going back to school again, with the summer vacations coming to an end, the protagonist kid called Oswald draws an image of Spring Bunny, bored that there's not much to do in his spare time in this town. Sitting in his dad's car, it's revealed that they live in a small town with the only pastime activity being time spent in a rundown pizzeria known as Jeff's. The father unfortunately cannot afford any better, as his job at the mill was terminated due to closure, and despite Oswald's pleas, moving to the closest town is impossible, as they have to take care of the grandma and she cannot move in the poor physical condition that she is with weak bones. Dropping him off at Jeff's pizzeria, the father thinks to himself what a failure he is not being able to afford more and make his son happy, depicting how disappointed he is with himself, feeling ashamed despite trying really hard to make his son happy. The scene changing to the pizzeria, Oswald is done eating his pizza, waiting for his father to return, being late as always, showing how he gets caught up in a lot of work, usually working overtime in many different jobs or gigs. While waiting, he overhears a family talking about a secret ball pit in the pizzeria which has been long closed due to an incident and bad hygiene. Despite the grim backstory of this ball pit, Oswald gets excited, going to find it and check it out for himself, as it seems that his dad won't be back anytime soon anyway. He leaves his table and decides to hide in the ball pit despite it being disgusting, in order to teach his father a supposed lesson not to be late. Of course, he could hide anywhere else than putting his own health at risk, but that's how the story goes. Suddenly the room gets filled with kids being busy playing, with a faded wall painting appearing. The painting includes the mascots Freddy, Chica, and Bunny. Oswald gets out of the ball pit, exploring the area, being confused to how any of this is possible, feeling as if he traveled back in time to the glory days of this place when it was more popular and crowded. The paintings of the wall remind him of the drawings that he makes, not knowing the names of the mascots, as if somehow these are premonitions that he has, which he draws. Overhearing a kid talking about a movie that he's going to watch in cinema, being Ghostbusters, it becomes clear that the time is around 1984 or 85 when Ghostbusters came out. Going to the main hall, a poster on the wall reveals that this was in fact a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria branch, which has been long closed and transformed into a different pizzeria by the name of Jeff's. Possibly after the incident Freddy Pizzeria had experienced, it was shut down and bought by a much smaller name. Freddy, Chica, and Bunny are seen dancing and singing, entertaining the kids, with Oswald not having a clue to who they are, even calling them creepy while he himself has been drawing their pictures. Talking to some of the kids, they revealed that a new steel mill has just opened, most likely the mill Oswald's dad was working in before it closed down. He then goes to meet with these kids called Mike and Chip in order to pass the time until his dad arrives, not understanding that he has time travel to the past. The boys then decide to play a game of hide and seek when Oswald goes on to hide in a room where he finds a calendar. It shows the date to be June 1985, making Oswald feel uneasy, yet not delving too deep into it, thinking it might be just an outdated calendar. He proceeds to hide inside an empty Freddy suit, which proves to be perfect as Mike cannot find him. As both Mike and Chip can't find him, they leave the room, which leads to the lights randomly turning off with a crawling animatronic of Spring Bunny passing him by, but not before inspecting the suit. As Spring Bunny leaves, he steps out of the suit, horrified to what sort of entity just passed them by, hearing all the kids, including some adult staff members, screaming in fear, with running footsteps heard everywhere. Worried about his new friends, Oswald goes to investigate, seeing the adults and children running away in fear. That's when he goes to a room, seeing Spring Bunny signaling him to follow it into another place, into the backstage. Following him naively without much thought put into it, he finds Springtrap standing over some corpses of kids being shrouded in darkness when Springtrap turns his attention to Oswald to hurt him, causing him to run away in a panic. This of course is the infamous event where William Afton killed several children who were reported to have gone missing, leading to controversy, causing the pizzeria to shut down. The pizzeria was refranchised, sold and bought by many different people, but ended up being bought by someone, a young man called Jeff, to what it is now. While Oswald is running, the other animatronics, Freddy, Chica, and Bunny, all seem to be malfunctioning as well. Oswald, wanting to hide from this monster, jumps into the ball pit when he notices that the environment changes back to normal, with the ball pit roped up with his father waiting for him next to Jeff, angry that he's been careless jumping into a dirty ball pit and not answering his calls. Spring Bunny all of a sudden comes out of the ball pit, seemingly from the past, attacking Oswald's father and dragging him into the ball pit. Oswald, in a moment of fear and uncertainty, yet determined to save his father, jumps up and reaches for his father, managing to miraculously pull him back up. Despite happy to have saved him, he quickly understands that his father has changed and not the same as before, with his eyes glowing and sensing whatever was controlling the monstrous animatronic is now possessing his father's body. It seems as if the soul of William Afton has traveled in time and has come to the current time from the Spring Bunny, possessing his father now. As a result, the father takes him home, letting him be in his room. Feeling strange and uncertain to what this entity wants with him, he looks for his dad's phone to call his mother. Managing to do that, the mother comes home from the hospital that she's working in, thinking that it's an emergency. Despite the father being possessed, there's no way to really tell, with Oswald being the only one who knows what really happened. The mother leaves, telling Oswald to relax, making it only up to Oswald to save his father, which means that he needs to go back to the ball pit and travel to the past just like he did before. Going to the Jeffs and jumping into the ball pit, it acts like a portal to the past where he intends to find his father and bring him back. The place seems to have deteriorated and changed to worse, with a child stuck in an endoskeleton, stuffed there by a hostile animatronic. Managing to find a screwdriver, he opens some screws in the end and lets the crying child out. Being chased by Spring Bunny, unable to find his father, Oswald goes back home, trapped with the Spring Bunny possessed father, unable to speak to anyone or feel safe at his own house. Despite feeling scared and overtaken by fear, having frequent nightmares, Oswald goes to school as it'll be the first day. There he meets Gabrielle, a girl who gets picked on by some school bullies. She gives Oswald a sketchbook that she found from her grandfather, which contains drawings of the animatronics of Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. He was a technician working in the place who drew about the animatronics in detail, their endos and suits, and some other technical details. Going to the ball pit yet again, Oswald manages to free one of the kids he knew, Mike, when he also encounters one of the singing animatronics, Chica, who he needs to distract by feeding it. Going back to the ball pit to explore the place some more and look for his missing father, Oswald encounters a new mascot, Bunny, whom he learns about through the sketchbook that he was given by Gabrielle. He reads the book in order to find a way to lure these animatronics away to progress further in different places and explore them to look for his father. That's when he finds Chip, the other friend he made, whom he saves being wrapped in ropes. After saving Chip but still not finding his father, the next mascot comes to play, Freddy, with 4 mascots now being big obstacles which Oswald needs to avoid in order to survive and be able to look for his father. Using the ball pit again to get back to the current time, Oswald goes home to start the 4th day. Going to school, the traumatic experiences Oswald has endured slowly show their impacts as Oswald struggles with hallucinations, seeing his schoolmates and students as the hostile endos and animatronics taunting and hunting him. Not able to handle the trauma and the hallucinations, Oswald runs out of the school in fear. It's clear now that whatever has happened to him will not leave him alone until he overcomes the animatronics and rescues his father, as otherwise he will have to live a life in fear and trauma. He goes back to the ball pit in Jeff's Pizzeria. Despite being scared, he knows that's the only way that he can overcome his recurrent nightmares and hallucinations. He finds a scared girl cowering in the camera room who is soon taken and trapped in a closet by Spring Bunny, whom Oswald heroically saves, putting his own life and safety at risk. As Spring Bunny notices this, he chases after him with great hostility, but Oswald manages to outrun him, getting into the ball pit with another day passing. Being the 5th day now, Oswald is severely haunted by nightmares on how his classmates are massacred and how he is under close observation by Spring Bunny, or otherwise known as William Afton. Oswald knows this is no way to live and has a feeling that the answer to putting an end to it is through finding his father and bringing him home. This time around, Oswald finds another trapped girl whom he saves, who tells him that she heard mumblings of a man from another room, which make Oswald overcome with joy, filled with optimism that his father is alive. Accordingly, he finds his father well and alive in the room, being wrapped in ropes, trapped there for whatever reason. Managing to free his father, Spring Bunny comes to the room after Oswald hides, quickly following him, finding the animatronic choking the father. Oswald's fight-or-flight system kicks in, literally punching Spring Bunny in the face so hard that it makes him drop a screw and glitch for a second, letting Oswald single-handedly carry the dead weight of his father and throw him into the ball pit to take him to the other world. As he does so, Spring Bunny follows in anger, not having had enough, having a fist fight with Oswald, but of course he's no match for the OP Ozzy, who makes him eat a left and right, who gets pushed back and tangled in the net of the ball pit, where he meets his demise, suffocating to death. The father soon awakens as if the curse is broken and he is no longer possessed when he asks Ozzy what happened, when he explains how sorry he is for pulling a prank on him which ended up so badly getting out of hand. The father doesn't seem to remember anything about the animatronics, and Ozzy leaving it at that, but explains why he pulled the prank as he has been frustrated how the father is always late. The father apologizes, seeing how he hasn't made it easier for him and his family, promising that they will move from the town, taking the grandmother with them, even if it takes special transport to do so, promising he will work harder to provide a better life for Ozzy, not letting the closure of the steel mill and losing his job affect him or the family any longer. Through the images found throughout the game, it's shown how the father has been a caring and loving dad. Despite being late to pick Oswald up, he has been stressed ever since he lost his job at the mill, but has been hiding his stress and fear of not being good enough, not wanting his family to be anyhow impacted. He has been trying hard ever since to make a good living for his family and give them what they want. But unfortunately, losing a good job led to him struggling financially and feeling embarrassed as the father of the family. He loved his wife and son dearly and always made sure to make them feel cared for. Hence why Oswald risked his own life to bring him back from the past and ensure his safety, as without his father and mother, he wouldn't see himself having a good life. And that's about it for this video, folks. I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.